We on? Yes, we are. Okay, perfect. All right. Hey, Nat. Well, listen, thanks for joining me and taking the time today. So, for us to cover really, in terms of the power of effective communication and numeracy in your new sales role. So, how are things going in your new role?
Amazing, absolutely love it.
Yeah,
What
well,
about
from what I've heard, you're doing an amazing job. So, just keep it up. Keep up the good work. All right. So we're just going to cover these two areas. I've put together these slides to help you. So we're going to start with a couple of activities we're going to cover. So what we're covering today is, let me just move along, is first we're going to cover some numeracy skills, and then we're going to do some oral communication. And in between all of that, there are some practical activities for us. Okay, some fun activities, nothing too hard, nothing too lengthy, just real quick calculations and real off the cuff sort of thinking. Okay,
perfect? No
so
problem.
let's get going. Alrighty. So, just in terms of the communication, especially in your role, in essence, effective communication and of course numeracy skills are the fundamentals of your role. And I'm sure you understand that dealing with customers every day, and it really helps you, especially understand your customers' needs and builds relationships and also influences decisions, in terms of analyzing data, the words we use when we talk about power and negative words, etc. Because as you can see, it's about persuasion and influence. And sometimes you're dealing with such a variety of demographic that comes in to the dealership, and we need to adapt to that. Sometimes the jargon we use, we're so used to it, they're not. Sometimes they get quite anxious and nervous in walking into the dealership, and it's for us to make sure we just calm them down and just make it an enjoyable, wonderful experience. All right. So the as you know, the understanding your customers' needs, the qualifying that we need to do in the role is very important too. And sometimes with the modern customer, we take for granted that they know a lot, but we just need to make sure that we are covering and understand their needs. And once we understand that, because the number one trait of any human being is the need to be understood. So if we're asking good questions, not interrogating, and suddenly they relax and they say, this person gets me, they really do. So we just want to make sure that the communication and the whole process, because remember, up front, it's about communication. Then right at the end, when they love the car, they like you, it's about the numbers. And we want to make sure that we convey that and we transfer it or segue into the numeracy part of our transaction as smoothly as possible, because that's probably the most stressful for them too. So that's why these two elements are really, really important. Okay. So just in terms of the numeracy side, like I said, understanding financials, the discounts that you offer, they play such an important role, in terms of the working out on roads, suddenly you adding on discounts and there's a customer loads up. Sometimes you'll find $15,000 worth of options. And you want to make sure you get that right. Otherwise, it could cost you a lot. And just a bit of an in-depth look about, especially around negotiations. I think you did this morning when I saw you're working out exactly how much they're getting. We said, let's look at the percentage, it's end up over 10%, which is a lot of money. It's just really getting them to understand that. And of course, the data analysis for decision making, you did that exactly, but also for yourself too, working out your commission structures and your earnings. You don't want to get that wrong. I mean, it certainly is certainly not a very pleasant situation where you think you're going to be earning X and you get Y, and it's just thinking, well, what am I doing this for? So we're going to make sure that the numbers we present, both professionally and personally, that we are really on top of it.
Definitely.
The pricing strategies, yeah, the pricing strategies are something that we don't have control of. It's just set by the manufacturer and with your management, and that's it. But we just want to make sure that when we're negotiating properly, it's 100%. It really shows your customer how professional you are, and I'm sure in your previous role too. But thankfully, we do have a lot of systems that do calculate this for us. But sometimes they make it, the system defaults to a previous old setting, and you've got to be able to understand, well, that doesn't look right. Let's check it. And it's happened so many times. Okay. So don't trust the computers just yet. Work it all out. just in terms of the oral communication, we're going to talk about some active listening because that's a crucial skill in your role. Directly impacts the understanding of your customer needs, concerns, preferences, and it ultimately fostering a strong relationship and, of course, a very successful outcome. Because I always talk about what's your point of difference. They come to you, they go next to dealerships down the road. It's the person that really gets them and listens and understands, because things they say sometimes we get so focused on trying to sell them a car, we really need to listen, and active listening plays a crucial role with that because of the understanding of your customers' needs, addressing concerns and preferences. It's also a part of emotional intelligence. It shows them that you really care. And how to active listen. It's more of a, so tell me more about that. Oh, I understand that. Not just sitting there. It's, oh, okay, that's interesting. And just building it. It's called also corridor questioning, where you are going further down the rabbit hole. And it's just really important that you create the skill. But from what I've seen already with you, Nat, you're very good with that because you really do show a lot of empathy too. So really keep it up. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
So here's just a simple example I put in there, and this is many. There are so many where I've met customers and they're coming through and say, right, they actively listen to the customer, and sometimes it's the little things that they don't really listen to that are the biggest stumbling blocks. When someone says, oh, I'm not really keen on this part or this accessory, or that's why in the sales process, active listening is so important, and writing it down is very important too. And it's just that we really need to make sure, because it could mean the difference between selling a car and not selling a car. You mentioned earlier on about this is what you like. Okay, well, this vehicle's got that, or you're concerned about this. Well, let me show you why this is the perfect vehicle for you. And they go, this guy gets me. They really get me. So, because of Sarah, she understood her customers' needs. She accurately addressed the concerns effectively and gave an alternate solution. Because your job as a sales professional is selection. And if things that your customer might say, there might be two of them in conversation, and suddenly you got to try and have the three-way conversation to try and get all the understandings. It really does become quite difficult. Okay, so here we're going to with the demographics, like I said, we're going to do one or two here, just a simple 3-step strategy, and then we're going to do one or two little fun exercises. Okay, so in terms of clear communication, number one, avoid the jargon. All right, it really is like, look at computers, look at our acronyms, ABS, ESP, just they've been around forever. But if you say someone, what does ABS mean? ESP, stability control, ESC, you've got all sorts of technical jargon. Just stay away from it, because understand that we need to really not even dumb it down, but just create simplicity. It makes your life easier too. All right. Like I said, using layman's terms is something that we need to make sure we understand, because on the website, we talk about active safety, but there's so many things. So I've seen some websites with these acronyms, ABS, ESC, EBD, brake force distribution. It's just crazy. And you think, well, what the hell do they mean? So we need to then structure our sentences and break it down into smaller, digestible amounts. All right. So we're going to play around with one or two exercises, and this is where I want you to put your thinking cap on. Okay. So, first one here is, how would you think? And I've got the answers, so it's okay. But this is just two examples of what I think you should be doing. So here's a service example of a sentence. Now, how would you simplify this? So the vehicle employs a dual clutch transmission system that utilizes electro-hydraulic actuation for seamless gear changes and enhanced fuel efficiency. How would you?
So the way I would go about it is, I'll say, look, this vehicle has dual clutch transmission, makes it much efficient and fuel efficient to save you guys fuel. Fuel prices are expensive nowadays.
Yeah, well, that's
And
actually,
so it alters with the being electrical hydraulic transmission.
yeah, Nice. Well, let's have a look at what I've suggested here. There you go. So, hey, it's just a simplified version. It's got a special gearbox that shifts gears smoothly and saves fuel using a smart hydraulic system. So you were almost spot on. Well done. Well done. All right, now let's move across to the sales side. This one's a bit easier. So the new vehicle is equipped with an advanced driver assistance system. Remember, we're talking about active safety here, and incorporates features such as lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control, automatic emergency braking, contributing to an overall improvement in active safety. So this is something I've taken off a website, ironically enough. So let's see, how would you simplify that sentence?
So the way I would go about it is I'll tell them, hey, look, this car has new features that have such things as adaptive cruise control. And okay, let me rephrase that again. So with new vehicles, with their technology nowadays, the park and assist, the emergency lane assist, and adaptive cruise control make it easier and safer for you to operate it while operating a vehicle.
You are absolutely, that is really well done, So here we go. So smart technology that helps you stay in your lane, adjust your speeds, and can brake on its own. I mean, when I did some research and thinking, I mean, I've been in the business 30 years, Nat, and I can tell you, I've still got to stop myself when we talk about active safety because it's such a wonderful selling tool. And we've got to really bring it down to, hey, understanding. And for me, it just makes your driving experience safer. So you were spot on. Absolutely. So that line, and it takes a lot of practice. So when you find yourself doing that, just sort of wind it back a bit and go, what is the simplest way I can explain? If this was a 10-year-old me sitting there in front of me, how would I want that to be explained? Because sometimes that's what we need to do. And then, of course, when you go for the test drive, it's even easier. Just say, when we go for the drive, I'm going to show you exactly how this brakes on its own, and you can set the speed, and it just makes your driver safer, your experience a lot safer. It's like pilot. So, hey, good job there. Well done.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so now we talk about positive language and tone. Tone is such an important thing. Tonality, especially over the phone, when we smile over the phone, when we're breathing, the positive language, and it's the tone and pitch that we use. And you really do that well. I've been listening to you on the phone and listening to you with customers. It's also you smile a lot, which it really makes it makes it a lot easier, because positive language, building rapport, it established trust is nothing more. You think about they coming in here and they're spending 80 and 90, 100, $110,000. We want to give that $110,000 service. So we're going to be happy because we're thinking this is it. This is our gold mine. This is our opportunity. And the power of positive phrasing and toning, the negative words, we find that we tend to sometimes default to that in our industry. I don't know why it is, but, oh, yeah, but I'm not too sure. Or, it's just we've got to really move away from the negative words because they do limit us in terms of and that we need to make sure that it's all, because we are all very professional, and you certainly are. And it really needs to get that balance between enthusiasm and professionalism. Remember Steve Irwin? What was, the Crocodile Hunter? I don't know if you ever watched him on TV growing up, If you ever want to know, one of the reasons why he is so endearing is his enthusiasm and his knowledge, his professionalism was unbelievable. If you ever want to know how the use of positive language and tone, he's a shining example of what you should do. So maybe sometime today, just Google Steve Irwin and watch one or two little videos, just snippets of him on how he would describe a situation. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. A great example. Okay, so I've got 3 sentences here for you. We want to reframe them in a positive. I'm going to give you the negative, and I want you to reframe it into a positive. Okay, so here's your negative phrasing. I can't meet the deadline. This project is too overwhelming. I'll give an example. Let's do the first one. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
And then you know what we're going to be doing. Okay, so here it is here. I can't meet the deadline. This project's too overwhelming. The positive is I'll work on breaking down the project into smaller tasks and create a realistic time frame to meet the deadline. So instead of saying I can't, I will work. That's the whole positive. Break it down, etc. So here's another one. more related to your role.
Okay.
I hate dealing with difficult customers. They always complain.
Oh, I gotta give this one a think.
Okay, well, I'll show you. It's okay. It's okay.
Nah, it's fine. No, opportunity to address this customer.
So I'm going to give you the last one now, and I'm not going to help you. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Good.
I'm not good at handling change. It disrupts everything.
I'm not good at handling change. It's just how can I adapt to change to overcome my objection?
Let's have a look. I see change as an opportunity for growth and improvement, and I'm adaptable to new situations. So it's, you know, it's how yours are still very positive because you're saying how I want to, you know. So we just need to just, you know, instead of saying I'm not good, I can see the opportunity. There's always a silver lining. All right. I hate dealing with grumpy customers. Well, then I say, well, let's look at what can we do. So listen, I'm struggling with them, but you know what? I'm willing to change and adapt. Because, you know, you get some very customers that come in that are just discount driven. And probably 90% of our customers are how much to discount, how much to discount, how much to discount, you know, and it's really, really difficult. And so you find them very difficult. So we look at the customers, especially the second one, as an opportunity to address the customer. So that's what it's all about. Think of objections. When a customer comes up with an objection, that's an opportunity for you to address their concerns and find the solution. That's the challenge. So that's the negative to the positive. All right. So, but yeah, we just need to work on that sometimes.
Definitely.
It's really sometimes that that we just, this is all new to you, I know, and this is why we need to just keep looking at that. Next time you find yourself being a bit negative, write it down and come to me and say, hey, how can I turn this into a positive?
Definitely. Appreciate
So,
it.
now we've finished the oral communication. Let's look at some of the numeracy. All right. So we've got a couple of slides on this, and then we'll finish it off. Because what I've done too is I've created a follow-up video which I'll send you, which you can watch exactly on this, just to reinforce some of the key points that we've done. All right. So it's actually really cool, I must admit. So just in terms of understanding the basics. All right. So here is a you know, it's a fundamental in our role, which we know. You know, just understanding percentages. Sometimes we don't really know that. Discount calculations, absolutely very, very important. All right. So we need to make sure that, and we have calculators, we have on our phone everywhere, but just sometimes to understand it, the way you work it out could have a very, very, very different outcome. Okay. So, but we are going to do one or two little examples. Okay.
I've got a small screen, so be mind.
Okay. No, that's okay. That's all right. Just in terms of, you know, the areas of the pricing strategies, especially around you for commission calculations and data-driven decisions, you know, understanding percentages like the discount you're giving versus, you know, sometimes the savings or the service savings or, you know, insurance costs, etc. Just understanding some of those numbers is very, very important. And thankfully, in your role, a lot of it is done for you. But still, like I said earlier, have a look at them, work it out manually. If there's some, just double check. Like in the building industry, one of the classic sayings is measure twice, cut once, you know, and we want to make sure that we do the same things, double check, because like I said, with your dealer management system, I've seen it sometimes where percentages are changing and sometimes they do the change, it defaults to the old one. And you just want to double check, right? Otherwise it really is. In terms of negotiating, very, very important. You know, they are an integral part. They facilitate the calculations. And it's also about make them feel good too. You know, one of the areas where customers find incredibly stressful is around the numbers. And if we explain to them what we're doing, how we're going to do it, it just makes life. There's no secrets. It just makes their life more enjoyable. They understand it. And the whole experience far more enjoyable too, because thankfully today, with all the structures around used car pricing and all the sort of dealer management systems, even finance calculations, you know, that sort of stuff is showing them if they do this or do it this way. You know, we have that finance calculator on our system, which you used. It's just really making sure that showing them savings, because that's why they show you what your interest portion is, what your principal debt is, or the amount you'll pay, and it just makes so much sense for them. All right, so here are 3 scenarios. All right, so let's just do 1 or 2. We don't have to do all 3. All right, so I want you to tell me what the discount is. So here, scenario number 1 is you are in an electronics store, and the customer wants to purchase a laptop for $1,200. The store is offering 15% discount. All right, calculate the discounted price for the customer.
Okay. On top
Have you
of my
got your
head,
calculator with you?
No, but I can.
Have a look. Is there one on the drawer? Do you want to run to your desk and get it quickly?
Yes, give me a sec.
Okay.
Okay.
So you got to calculate the discounted price for the customer. So they're getting a 15% discount on $1,200.
So
how much is the discounted amount, first of all?
So the discount amount is $180.
Yes. All right. So what would be the laptop price after discount?
It will be $1,020.
Perfect. Well done. All righty. Scenario number 2. Now this is more for you. All right. So you got a customer interested in a vehicle priced at $30,000. We're offering a 10% discount. The customer is also eligible for additional $2,000 discount due to their loyalty program. So what's the final price?
So firstly, well, the way I got taught is always BOD math. So divide, that 30,000 to that 10%. So 0.
Correct. Yes.
So 30,000 times by 0. It's minus $3,000 plus the $2,000. That's $5,000. So it will be 2,500.
Done.
25,000. Sorry.
That's right. Excellent. All right. Perfect. All right. And do the last one. The commission. So you're a software company, you receive 7% commission on your sales, and you close the deals total 50,000. So calculate what your commission would be.
50,000 times 0.07. So that on that commission, on the 50,000, sorry. It's $3,500.
Done. Nat, it seems like the sort of the numeracy part of it is very good, and your understanding is excellent on that side of it. So just looking ahead, especially the commission. Like I said, in our business, you need to work on although you're a volume as well as a gross sort of commission structure in your role. Really focus on the gross. Make sure, because that's what really pays all your bills. You can sell the volume, but you want to make sure, and we're going to work on that too. But all I can say is, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it. And like I said, I'm going to send you a link I've created off these notes. I've created a video, sort of a 4-minute summary of all the key points, which I'll send through to you afterwards. And just let me know what you think of it too, okay? Because it's something we're trying. But like I put the quote there, sales success is often the result of combining these skills: positive attitude, determination, customer-centric approach, continuous improvement, and commitment to honing these skills will give you that long-term success. So don't stop learning. I'm here 24/7 to help you. And all I can say is thank you for the time and welcome.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
That's an absolute pleasure. Now go and sell a car, please.
No worries at all. We'll do. Take care.
Thank you so much.
No worries. Bye.